All right, are we going? Are we going? All right. Boop, 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 boop. Good morning. It is I, your host, Bogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of Stone Lapis Lazuli. Ah, yes, it is I. Hello. Good morning. I barely made it in the morning. I barely made it to morning. I couldn't sleep last night. I couldn't sleep last night because it was so freaking hot, and so I woke up with a massive headache because of lack of sleep. And yeah, okay. So there's a reporter here by the name of Tim Groover who made an interesting observation. Tim Groover was saying that we haven't left 2020 yet. It's still repeating 2020 because on 2020 we had a big fire here around Labor Day, and it added smoke to our valley. And right now we have a fire. I have a fire west of me that I didn't have to evacuate, which was good because they had the wrong number for me. They had the wrong phone number for me. So they've been calling my mom's house in Nevada to tell me to prepare to evacuate. But I don't live there. I don't know why they have my mom's number. I think they wanted my emergency number. And that's what they're calling, is my emergency number, not the number I gave them, which is like my home number. So I don't know, but that's kind of weird. I gotta figure that out. Like, if they're gonna call me to tell me to evacuate, they should call my house instead of my mom's house in another state. But yeah, so it feels weird. So we got that going. We have Donald Trump still in the news. Donald Trump is still in the news. I can't believe it. After all this time, Donald Trump is still relevant. How can this be? It's 2022. How can Donald Trump be relevant? He's not running for president. Like, he's not in prison yet. Like, what's going on here? So yeah, we're still talking about Donald Trump in the news. So have we really moved on from 2020? Like, Donald Trump's in the news. We still have all these fires going on everywhere. Like, I don't know what's happening. I've upgraded my molten salt reactor here with labels, so people can understand what's going on. Because I had done it before, but I didn't put any labels on. I can go through it real quick. Molten salt reactors are superior to solid fuel reactors because the fuel is already molten. So it can't melt down because it's already melted down. The only thing it can do is turn back into a rock, which it will do if you stop giving it fuel, which is right here. So if you blow up this containment vessel, if you blow it up, like a missile comes, bah, 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 and a missile comes, and it blows up the side of the containment vessel. Oh no, all the lava's coming out. Oh no, all the lava's coming out. Well, that's not a big deal because with the molten salt reactor, it doesn't go anywhere. With a light water reactor, you're always afraid of your reactor melting down and then releasing all of the chemicals, all of the radiation into the environment. But that doesn't, because it blows up. It literally blows up. This does not blow up. Nothing's pressurized. There's no pressure. No pressure in here. So if you open up, if a side gets knocked open, you turn off the fuel injection to stop giving it fuel. Without fuel, the stuff turns back into rock. It just turns back into rock. Nothing happens. It turns back into a rock because there's no fuel anymore. Now I have to clean that off. Turn this back into lava. All right. Yeah. So nothing happens. Nothing happens. It just turns back into a rock. All right. Then you might ask, well, what about nuclear proliferation? What about someone taking the good stuff out of this to go make a nuclear bomb? Well, if you're making this, you cannot make a nuclear bomb out of it. Because once you chuck the stuff in there, once you chuck the fuel in there, what happens is the reaction creates something called gamma rays. Like, radiation there's 3 types of radiation, at least 3 types of radiation. There's alpha rays, there's beta rays, and there's gamma rays. Alpha and beta rays no problem. They are blocked by like skin and clothing. Like it doesn't penetrate. So alpha and beta rays are pretty benign as long as they stay outside of your body. If you eat something, if you eat a radioactive product that's shooting out alpha and beta rays, it's gonna hit the insides of your body and basically create a sunburn where there should never be sun. And it will kill you. It will mess you up. So you don't want to eat alpha and beta rays. That's just bad. Okay, the other kind of ray the other kind of radiation that this makes is called gamma radiation. Gamma radiation is the nasty stuff. When the world talks about watching people to watch for any like nuclear reactions, what they're looking for are gamma rays, because you cannot hide gamma rays. You cannot hide gamma rays. Gamma rays are super bright, very bright. So, and they go through most anything. So you don't want to be anywhere near this thing while it's going, because it's shooting off gamma rays. And that means you cannot come by and be like, oh, I'm gonna take some of this molten stuff and go make a bomb out of it. No, you cannot do it, because if you go near it, you're gonna die. You're gonna get gamma radiation poisoning, and you're gonna die. You're gonna die. You can't do it. You cannot turn this into a nuclear bomb. You can't do it, because anyone who goes to work with it will die. You are not gonna get a nuclear scientist who spent like decades learning his or her craft. You're not gonna get a nuclear scientist to throw away her life. There's no way a nuclear scientist is gonna throw away her life to walk by a nuclear reactor with gamma rays just to make a nuclear bomb for you. No way. That's not gonna happen. Nope. So this thing is great because it stops nuclear proliferation. In fact, you can throw in nuclear waste and nuclear bombs into this thing, and it will eat them. It will eat the nuclear waste and nuclear bomb. So you got one loop here that cleans the salt, that takes out all the bad stuff, and you adds fuel to keep the reaction going. Then you have this other loop right here, which is the heat loop, primary heat loop. It takes heat from here and moves it to over here. This is the secondary heat loop. This takes heat from the first loop, shoves it through a turbine to spin a turbine and generate electricity. Then it shoves it back into the heat loop to pick up more heat. So that's how this thing works. It's fantastic. But this is not going to be enough, right? The station continues. The train line continues. And I need to work on this. I haven't worked on it yet. But that's great over there for eventually. But what we need to do here is make solar panels. The United States is not going to have enough time to make molten salt nuclear reactors. It does have time to create solar panels. We need to create massive numbers of solar panels to get off of oil, to limit the amount of oil that we burn. Even if we can just limit the oil we burn, that will be better than what we're doing now. Sure, tinted glass. If we could stop the use of oil, even just a little bit, that would help. Every little bit helps in trying to stop oil. This is facing south. But it's raining right now, so what doesn't matter? And it's going to be dark time, nighttime. So yeah, your solar panel is not going to work at nighttime. Which is why we need batteries. To catch some of this energy. Well, now it's shit. Now it's no good. It doesn't even work. You can't see it. Here. Let me give you a potion of night vision. Night vision! Solar panels! Dude, this thing looks terrible. You can't see anything. There we go. There we go. Now we can see the blocks. And solar panels are part of the Green New Deal. So we haven't done the Green New Deal yet. We haven't done it yet because Manchin doesn't want it to happen. Manchin is an oil guy first and foremost. His primary loyalty is to the oil companies. Manchin won't do anything unless it benefits the oil companies. So he killed Biden's Build Back Better agenda because it didn't help oil companies. And he allowed for his new bill, the Infrastructure Reduction Act, to pass because it helped out oil companies. Manchin is all about oil companies. He's a jerk. He's a bad guy. But regardless of how bad Manchin is, solar panels are still going to be what is a major component of the Green New Deal, because we're going to take all of the coal workers, all of the oil workers, all of the miners, all of the refiners, we're going to turn them all into solar panel producers, solar panel installers, solar panel maintenance, energy management. We're going to all sorts of stuff. The Green New Deal is going to basically replace our old infrastructure, oil infrastructure, with green energy infrastructure. That doesn't happen automatically. There's no machine you can press a button and it does it automatically. You need to hire people and get boots on the ground to get that underway and get it going. And that's going to radically transform the United States. But in a great way. It'll totally change our economy. But that's what we need to do to get off of oil, because oil is killing us. Oil is killing the world. I mean, look at these temperatures, guy. I can't even sleep at night because it's so hot. And I'm like lucky. I can like afford an AC unit if I need it. And I'm lucky. The temperatures in Salem aren't really that bad compared to other parts of the world. I'm lucky, and it's already bad. Like, imagine in like a couple years, it's going to be unbearable. So we need to get solar panels ASAP. And the United States needs to get on that. China already jump-started their solar panel. They're going to probably be the producers for Asia, because we were real slow on the solar panels because of the Republicans. They didn't want to switch. So yeah, we lost that to China because of the Republicans, but I still think we can come back. I don't think I don't think the Republicans knocked us out totally of the solar panel market. We can still come back. But we have to start transforming our economy. We can't be like continuing on this oil nonsense. Joe Manchin like insisted he get a bunch of freaking oil contracts for his oil buddies, and it's like the worst thing possible. So yeah, it's really important that the United States stay focused on transitioning off of fossil fuels, because that's where the future is going. That's where the whole world is going. We must go in that direction. So we can either follow in that direction or we can lead in that direction. If you listen to Joe Manchin, we would definitely follow China. He wants us to follow China. So we can't really listen to Joe Manchin. He's not really on Team USA. So we can either follow China on solar panels, or we can take the initiative and go full steam ahead. Yeah, nice. Solar panels. I love solar panels. I mean, it's free electricity, dude. All you gotta do is like catch the sun. All you gotta do is catch the sun. Whoa. Okay, I want to talk about other stuff. So locally, I want to tell you. Okay, I want to inform Americans. Well, really, anyone who can hear me, because this is. But anyone from a democracy. This doesn't. I don't know if this works in totalitarian regimes. Well, it must work, right? And of course it works it's easy in totalitarian regimes, but I'm talking about democracy. In democracy, we have to be on guard for something called demoralization. What is demoralization? Demoralization is a method developed by totalitarian regimes to overthrow democratic governments. They do this by, is that a ship? Huh. Oh wow. They do this by years long, I'm talking decades long process of feeding information into people's brains and confusing them. The goal is to get the people of the democratic nation to distrust its institutions, to forget about the purpose of the democracy, and to make them believe that there's no such thing as truth. If you can make people give up on their institutions, make them listen to falsehoods, and make them believe there's no such thing as truth, you can easily control them. They're easily controlled. Now, it sounds silly when you first hear it. It sounds pretty dumb. When I first heard it, I'm like, there's no freaking way this can actually happen to anyone who actually is like paying attention. There's no way. The Soviets spent all their time, they wasted all their time. Here, let me play the clip. Well, yeah, I should play I don't want to play the clip. Let me show you the text. There's like, oh, here. Rather than show you that, let me play the clip and do the text.
Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand.
There's nothing to do with espionage. Only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
Okay, so let's remember that. All right, so here in the United States, just recently, there's a guy who goes to leftist events and records them. Last year, that's why 2020 never seems to go away. In 2020, this guy showed up at a Black Lives Matter rally to protest against Black Lives Matter. He protested against Black Lives Matter rally, and he did so dressed up as Mario. He dressed himself up as Mario to protest Black Lives Matter rally. So I talked to him and I tried to explain to him about the way things were going. When I talked to him, he seemed a little bit like not with it because he was dressed as Mario. Okay, that's fun, whatever. But then he started talking about a bunch of religious stuff, and then it didn't make any sense to what he was saying. So I thought I got through to him. I thought I explained it to him that Mario was there to save the princess, not to entrap the princess, not to like attack the princess. Mario's there to save the princess. So if dude was there just as Mario, like he ought to be thinking about how to save the princess, not how to like capture her. So I thought I talked to him. I thought I got through to him. Well, lo and behold, I find out he has a YouTube channel. And on this YouTube channel, this dude goes to right-wing Nazi events. And he records these right-wing Nazi events, and then he cuts them and he produces them and he adds background music to make it sound really, really, really nice, to make it sound very pleasant, to make it sound like it was a great event. But these are literally Nazi events. These are Nazi events. These are events by people who are demoralized. These are entire groups of people who have completely, remember what demoralization is. to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that, despite the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their communities, and their country. You cannot change their minds, even if you expose them to authentic information. Even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and logical behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid of these people, you need another 10 or 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who will be acting in favor and interest of the United States society. So let me show you what I mean. So even if you tell these people, what he does, this guy, what he does is he goes to other demoralization events. He is demoralized, and he goes to other demoralized events to further the demoralization of Americans. He is all about the demoralization of America for Putin. Let me show you what I mean. So he creates these videos. He goes to these fascist events and creates videos, and he's trying to spread fascist information. He has an entire production company devoted to spreading fascist misinformation. So I found the guy, and I tried to talk to him. I tried to talk to him. Let me show you here. And this is how I'm able to, or why I call it like dogfighting. Because we're kind of dogfighting. He actually engaged me, which is rare, right? Normally fascists won't engage you. They won't engage me because they know that they're going to lose if they engage me. But this guy, he engaged me. So I went to his channel, right? And let me get rid of Yuri for a second. I went to his channel, and he played a video of a rally, of a Nazi rally where they were spreading conspiracy theories. So I said, thank you for highlighting this dangerous group. The disconnect between the calming music and the fascist words was really jarring. The video opens with calls to religious freedoms, but then promotes fascist ideas that take away freedom from people. It's a kind of brainwashing. The young man with the black and white flag, that's a symbol of insurrectionists. The guy at 3516 is spreading conspiracy theories, and he's probably an insurrectionist. An insurrectionist is a person who wants to overthrow the government, like the people at the January 6, 2020 insurrection. Yes, it's scary. They mix religion with politics. Thank you for exposing the danger. And then I say, I guess this particular guy could be called a MAGA Republican. One who does not accept democracy and believes in no evidence conspiracy theories because that's what his leader said. If that's the kind of people who are speaking at this event, I would say this is a fascist event meant to spread anti-American propaganda. Now remember, what did Yuri say? He wants to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that, despite abundance of information, no one is able to come to a sensible conclusion. So look what he says. This is him. So he apologizes for it right away. First he says voices like this open more doors to conversations. So he's just asking questions. He's jacking off. And then he says, oh yes, there's some here. I need to snip this. Wait. Let me get the whole thing. I want to snip it because we need to really get into it. Let's really get into it, huh? I love textual analysis. Textual analysis is the best because words on paper can't run away. So this guy, once he went down to paper, he can't run away. So this guy said, voices like this open, okay. He says, and yes, there's some conspiracy about the election this, the election that. It does get very boresome to cover. But let's talk about the reasonable things that make elections actually unfair. That right there, that's a flare. Dude recognizes that I recognize that he's a fascist, and he's trying to shake me. He's trying to discourage me from locking on to him, and he wants me to go off on a conspiracy theory about what he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about reasonable things that actually make elections unfair. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to talk about gerrymandering. He doesn't want to talk about vote suppression. He doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to talk about conspiracy theories. But see, he's hiding. He's trying to get me to go off on his flare, and I'm not going to do it, right? So watch me. I keep going. I'm locked on to him. I'm locked on. To me, the more pressing issue is the civil unrest being fomented by Donald Trump. He's under investigation for half a dozen different crimes, and he keeps casting doubt on the election. That causes his followers to act irrationally and to spread conspiracy theories. What's the point of spreading lies about the 2020 election? There's no proof. There's no winning court cases. There's lots of prominent Republicans saying the 2020 election was fine. Why amplify the crazy? Okay. Okay. I'm going to snip this one too because I need to mark it up. Mark it up. All right, so this is what he says. Everything we do here regarding Trump has been politicized to the moon. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Who has been saying that it's been politicized? Who is the one saying it's been politicized? This guy says that the information about Trump has been saying that the information about Trump has been politicized. And this guy repeats it. This guy repeats what Trump said. The fact he won 2020 was pure luck. No, dude, no. All right. Was help from Russia. Russia is what made him win 2022, and the United States government said so. The one who says that it was pure luck that he won, that's like Republicans. Okay, now look at this next part. The establishment in power just didn't really care. What are you talking about? They didn't really care. They impeached him twice. So this guy is repeating a whole bunch of Nazi propaganda. He's repeating Nazi propaganda over and over. He doesn't have any clue about reality, right? So, and then all this right now is an attempt to keep the beast from rampaging the ivory tower. What? So he's saying the beast is Donald Trump. He's saying that the insurrection that Donald Trump tried to do to overthrow the government was just a bunch of nothing, and it's just the establishment people trying to protect their ivory tower for Donald Trump. He doesn't think Donald Trump did anything wrong. That's what he's saying. He doesn't think Donald Trump did anything wrong. Now look at here. He says crazies exist everywhere. Both sides. He tries to both side it. Which side tried to overthrow the government? His side. But remember, he's demoralized. He doesn't have any concept of reality anymore. You can give him all the information you want, but this guy is demoralized. He is attacking the institutions of the United States. He does not believe what the United States says, and he repeats what the enemies of the United States say. So he says that truth is relative. He does not believe in truth because what's true is merely depends on what party's in power. For this guy, truth is power. For him, truth. Wait a minute. Truth equals power. That's how come you know this guy's a Nazi. Because Nazis believe power is the truth. They don't believe in actual truth. They think that truth is malleable depending on power. So this guy is a fucking Nazi. Straight up Nazi. Straight up Nazi. Because he cannot recognize that the Republicans tried to overthrow the government in 2021. He can't see it. He cannot see it. Even if you give him the proof, he tries to both sides it and say both sides are the same. This group who protested against police brutality is the same as this group who tried to overthrow the government. No, that's incorrect, but this guy is demoralized. He cannot see the difference. So now here's the next part: election integrity. Now, when right-wingers, Nazis say election integrity, what they really mean is Republicans have to win every election. If they don't win the election, it's a fraud. So he's already for fraud, right? You can tell he's for fraud. And here's a flare, right? He wants me to talk about election integrity. That's the second time. He tries to get me to go off on his conspiracy theory. Say like, what's this? What's this? That's a big generalization. Be specific. Can you be specific about this? No, he can't. What's this? Bad actors in general? What are you talking about? He's making a bunch of vague accusations. He doesn't have anything. He can't be specific. He's just putting shit out there. Just a bunch of like, yeah, a bunch of crap. And then he says the media politicized it. Once again, the media politicized it. So he put a bunch of shit, a bunch of vague accusations, and then goes back to Donald Trump's position that the media is political. That it's not his fault. It's not that the thing that we're looking at is bad. It's that the media makes it look bad. That's his belief. The thing itself isn't bad. The media makes it look bad. So the dude is totally a fascist. He has no concept of reality. He's only repeating what his leader tells him. He cannot think for himself. He can't do it. And he tried to get me to go on this flare here. Check this out. I don't follow what you're saying because you're not being specific. You're arriving at conclusions based on vague accusations. It's a fact Donald Trump stole nuclear secrets from the United States. They were found in his home. There is no politics involved. That's what I mean about conspiracy theories. Nothing is specific or concrete, but when you're faced with specific facts, such as nuclear secrets being found in the home of Donald Trump, what do? Do you follow some conspiracy theory without evidence, or do you look at the fact that Donald Trump stole nuclear secrets? What do you do, right? Remember, this guy is demoralized. So you can give him specific, absolute facts. These are top secret documents. They were found in Donald Trump's home. Donald Trump does not deny that they were found in his home. He doesn't say that they weren't home. At first he said that the FBI planted them. But then it came out that his lawyer wrote the FBI letter saying that they already returned it all. How could the FBI plant it if you sent the letter saying that they already returned it all? Like, you had it. How can your lawyer say, yep, we already have it, and we already give it back? So Donald Trump stole these documents. And when you show the evidence, when you give the evidence of Donald Trump stealing the documents, right, irrefutable proof, who do you believe? Do you believe Donald Trump saying whatever he can? Or do you believe your eyes seeing top secret documents Donald Trump stole that shouldn't be out of Washington, D.C.? They should have never left Washington, D.C. By the nature of these things, they should not have left Washington, D.C. Donald Trump can say he declassified them. That's fine. All he has to do is give me the proof. Then Donald Trump will say, well, I used my mind to declassify it. Oh, okay, but guess what? Joe Biden used his mind to reclassify it. So now you're in possession of stolen documents. It's easy, right? Mind powers. Fucking moron. All right. So who do you believe? Do you believe the liar Donald Trump, or do you believe your own eyes? This guy does not believe his eyes. He does not believe his eyes. He says, at this point in time, all we can know is that there were some documents related to the foreign nuclear capabilities. No, dude, no. See, he's repeating the misinformation that he's heard. All he's doing is repeating misinformation. And he's doing it as flares, right? He's trying to get me to lose my lock on him, because I got him locked. All we know at this time is that there were classified top secret documents relating to the foreign nuclear capabilities. Doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. They were top secret documents. Top secrets documents. All we know at this point is that there were classified top secret documents stolen from the US government and found in Donald Trump's home. I doubt we'll learn more. Why do you doubt we'll learn more? So here he is trying to cast doubt on the FBI. It's not the FBI that's causing all these problems. It's Donald Trump's team. Donald Trump keeps passing his motions to keep the affidavits sealed. Donald Trump is doing all sorts of stuff, whatever he can, to slow down this thing. But remember, this guy's a fascist. He's demoralized. He lost his sense of truth. All he can do is repeat what Donald Trump says. So that's what he's been doing. He's trying to downplay. We can all see that there are top secret documents in Donald Trump's house. But this guy does not believe his eyes. He does not believe his eyes. He says, oh, my eyes are lying to me. Only Donald Trump can tell me the truth. So now he's repeating the Donald Trump thing. Donald Trump wants to say, even though he's an ex-president, he has the power to declassify documents with his mind. And this guy is repeating it against the United States in support of a Russian asset. This dude is repeating what Donald Trump says. And then now he's saying, I would rather hear what the courts have to say. Right? He cannot believe his eyes. He can't believe his eyes. He needs the court to tell him what to do. That's weird. Why would he need the court to tell him what to do? Oh, that's why. That's why he needs the court to tell him what to do. Because Donald Trump went shopping for this judge, Eileen Cannon. Eileen Cannon took office 10 days after Donald Trump lost the election. Appointed by Donald Trump. This judge is corrupt. This is a corrupt judge. Donald Trump picked this judge to do whatever he wanted. So of course this guy is saying, oh, let's wait for the judge to say something, because it's his judge. It's Donald Trump's judge. So from what you can gather, which is nothing, right? Because this guy is stupid. The FBI has been used as a tool for pushing whatever the establishment wants. So he's saying that the FBI is corrupt. Like it wasn't corrupt when Donald Trump was in office. Only when it's aimed at Donald Trump does he say it's corrupt. So this guy is against the United States institutions. Understand that this guy's against the United States institutions, and he repeats foreign propaganda about the United States. So this guy is demoralized. That's what I'm telling you. He's unable to believe anything. He can't trust the evidence of his eyes. He can only listen to what his leader tells him to do. So it's over here. It doesn't matter if it was nuclear secrets about a foreign nation. It's information for which an enemy would pay billions. And it's top secret information that wasn't supposed to leave the room it was in. It doesn't matter if they were classified or not. They're top secret and in his possession. After his lawyer said they looked and said they sent everything back. The fact that it is top secret information was stolen from the government and found in Donald Trump's possession after he said he didn't have it. If it were you or I that had stolen top secret documents, we'd be in prison cell quicker than liquid shit. You don't have to trust the FBI. Just look at the facts. Donald Trump never denied he had top secret documents in his possession. That in itself is a crime. Regardless of it's declassified, they're not his to have. So this guy does not believe his own eyes, does not believe the United States, does not believe the institutions of the United States. He believes criminals, and he believes the foreign leader of a nation that attacked the United States. This guy is demoralized. He's anti-American. So then, look what he says. Then he says, every single bit of information matters. No, it doesn't. Trump's lawyers are playing games as well as every other person involved. See, he tries to both sides it. He tries to say that Trump's lawyers are acting the same as everyone else. The guy is unable to tell. For him, the only truth is power. Who has more power? For this guy, the only thing that matters is who has more power. He is demoralized. He has lost the plot. He cannot determine black from black and white from white. Even if you show him, he's unable to think. He's lost his rational mind. He does not believe in truth anymore. So the guy is saying Donald isn't saying anything. Most likely, he's saying lots. He said the FBI planted it. He said he declassified it. He said that the FBI tried to steal his stuff because they got his passport by accident. Like, he said lots of shit. So the guy is unable to tell truth. So his lawyers can tell him whatever he want. Donald Trump doesn't listen. Rather Trump is found guilty or not guilty of theft is determined. No, dude. See, that's an example. He wants the corrupt judge. He wants the corrupt judge to tell people what's up, rather than saying, "Oh, everyone can look with their eyes that Donald Trump stole these documents." So here he tries to blame Hillary Clinton. Watch. I do agree that if poor slugs like any of us would have done it, it would have been a one-way trip to Guantanamo Bay. While most likely Trump or any other rich dude gets a slap on the wrist because he's filthy rich, unless they get what they want and wreak revenge. See? Here we go. They get what they want and wreak revenge for what happened in 2016. Is he talking about Donald Trump? Why would Donald Trump wreak revenge for what happened in 2016? No, he's trying to blame the Americans for investigating Donald Trump for his 2016 collusion with Russia. He's trying to say, we all know that some people of power are still pretty salty. He's trying to say that Vladimir Putin is correct. This guy is saying, "Oh yeah, I believe Vladimir Putin when he says he didn't attack the United States." So this guy is on Team Russia, right here, saying that Donald Trump was persecuted by the Americans. The guy is totally lost his mind. So I'm telling him, noise is information, but it's irrelevant information. Right? Donald Trump is nothing but a noise machine. He puts out a bunch of noise. And if you listen to it, if you can't separate noise from signal, you won't get the message. Donald Trump said lots and lots already. That's why we know he didn't deny he possessed the top secret documents. There seems to be a lot of noise around you, which is why you can't hear the signal. That's a sign of conspiracy theory. You can't appreciate the fact that Donald Trump stole nuclear secrets from the USA because you're deafened by the noise from his lawyers. And that is why people don't trust people who follow Donald Trump. Because people who follow Donald Trump are unable to separate themselves from him. I mean, listen to you try to push Donald Trump's lies about the election. If you're a guy who will ignore that Donald Trump stole top secret U.S. documents and will repeat Donald's lies about the election, then maybe you're not really on Team USA. And what does he say to that? And he says, oh, wait a minute. And then he says, I'm not ignoring Donald Trump had these foreign documents. See, there he goes again, right? There he tries again. He's trying to twist the narrative. He tried again. See, the guy's brainwashed. He can't do anything. He's brainwashed. I am not ignoring that Trump had these. They're not foreign documents, these U.S. So he ignored that Donald Trump had U.S. secrets by calling them foreign documents. That's how, you see what he's doing to his head, his own head. He's ignoring that Donald Trump stole U.S. secrets by lying to himself and saying, oh, they weren't really U.S. secrets, they were foreign documents, so it's not important. He's already trying to lie. You see, you can't talk to this guy because he's not firm on anything. His story will change to anything Donald Trump wants. So he's not really there. He's like Gumby, right? He'll bend and fold to whatever Donald Trump wants him to be. He already lied. It's not foreign documents. They're U.S. secrets. He ignored that Donald Trump stole U.S. secrets by calling them foreign documents. So again, he's trying to go back. All he wants to do is to send this to his corrupt judge. He can't trust his eyeballs that show that Donald Trump stole U.S. secrets. He can't trust it. If his eyeballs see that Donald Trump stole U.S. secrets, his brain will change the information to say those aren't really U.S. secrets. Those are foreign documents. Those aren't really they're not really stolen because Donald Trump declassified them. It doesn't really matter because the FBI is corrupt anyways. This guy is doing everything he can to apologize for Donald Trump. He is demoralized. He's demoralized. He has no concept of truth anymore. He cannot think. He is purely acting in the interest of fascism. That's what he's doing. He's purely acting in the interest of fascism. He cannot think. He's got no brain. You can show him the information and it won't matter. He will continue to spew lies for fascists. So he's like, all I am wanting right now is for this to get finished, as only then we can finally say for sure. In other words, he cannot believe his eyes. He cannot believe what he sees. He cannot believe it. He needs a corrupt judge picked by his leader to tell him what his eyes are seeing, because he can't trust it. I don't need a fucking corrupt judge to tell me what I see. I see clear as day that Donald Trump was a traitor. I see clear as day. I don't need a judge to reinterpret this stuff around me. I can see and think for myself. But when you're demoralized, when you've lost your brain, when you've lost your ability to see truth, then you do stupid shit like storm the Capitol on January 6th. Look at this idiot. Noise and signal are hard to distinguish from each other. No, dude. Noise and signal are very, very easy to distinguish from each other. But when you're brainwashed, then you can't see anything. Now, here, this guy. But it isn't hard to see the truth versus what the media established actors want you to say. You see, he's repeating what Donald Trump is telling him. The guy's got no self-perception. He can't recognize that he's repeating lies and that he's full of mush. And that's what I call him. That's what I'm saying. You're going to ignore what you can see with your own eyes, that Donald Trump was in possession of top secret documents, to fit in with the narrative that Trump wants you to say. Nobody can look at the evidence taken from Donald Trump's home. If you disbelieve your own eyes to believe the words of a leader, that's a good indication you've lost your sense of objectivity. We can say for sure Donald Trump was in possession of stolen U.S. secrets. Donald Trump himself does not deny it. It's very easy to distinguish between noise and signal. For example, 44651318462562. Hello. 46549861984861. Did you hear the hello in that noise? I bet you did. You are able to distinguish between hello and the noise. It is helpful that the noise has a pattern. Donald Trump's noise always has a pattern. That's why it's easy to filter out. Donald Trump, the epitome of media actors, wants you to disbelieve your own eyes, and by your own words, you oblige him. So in a way, your videos do show the depths of brainwashing. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? I'm not going to protect him anymore. Who is this guy? This guy is Stork Entertainments. Stork Entertainments. He has a YouTube channel in which he goes and he praises Nazis and he attacks Americans. This guy is brainwashed. So remember what I told you about, what Yuri was talking about. What was Yuri talking about? Yeah, Stork Entertainments. The guy who runs Stork Entertainments is demoralized and is repeating Nazi propaganda.
Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand.
There's nothing to do with espionage. Only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior.
I can show the Stork Entertainment guy, I can show him a photograph of top secret documents taken from Donald Trump's homes, and he will disbelieve it. He will disbelieve it. He will say those are foreign documents. He will say there's no nuclear secrets in there. He'll say the FBI planted them. He'll say that they're declassified. He'll say anything. This Stork Entertainment guy will say anything to deny his senses and to believe what Donald Trump has told him. I cannot change his mind. Even if I give him authentic information, even if I prove white is white and black is black, I cannot change Stork Entertainment's basic perception and his logical behavior. Even if I prove it, I can't change it because he is demoralized. He has lost his ability to discern truth. He's given up on the idea of truth. For him, one thing is just like the other thing. Nothing is different from one another. Everything's the same thing. There's no truth. There's no truth to demoralize people. For a demoralized person, there's no such thing as truth.
In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible.
I hope not.
To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years.
Okay. That was the main part. I want you to see that the stupid guy from the 80s, from talking about demoralization and getting Americans to give up on the idea of truth. It sounded stupid in the 80s. It sounded dumb. But in the 2020s, I'm watching it happen, like in real time. Like we brought up, like I have an example of the Stork Entertainment guy. The Stork Entertainment guy is exactly the perfect example of demoralization from that Yuri was talking about from the 80s. This guy not only has lost all sense of objectivity, he can't perceive truth and repeats fascist lies, but he goes around and he makes pro videos of fascists to make them look good and to spread their fascist ideology. So not only is he brainwashed, but he's spreading the brainwashing to other people. Look at all those flares that he fired off, trying to get me to follow off on a conspiracy theory instead of honing on the fact that he's brainwashed. Like, it's a real thing. MAGA Republicans are really, really brainwashed, and I don't know if we can bring them back. I don't know. Yuri doesn't think so. Yuri thinks that they're brainwashed for 15, 20 years until we can educate a new group of Americans to replace them. So Yuri, the Soviet defector who joined the United States and who told us about this brainwashing technique, he's telling us that it works so good that it's irreversible. And you look at the Stork Entertainment guy. I talked to him when he was dressed as Mario. I gave him all this information. I showed him a photographic evidence that Donald Trump is committing crimes. And the Stork Entertainment guy was unable to come to a sensible conclusion because he is brainwashed. He kept repeating the lies of Donald Trump instead. That's the danger we're in, Americans. It's not about convincing your fellow Americans to come back here, because for a lot of them, they're completely gone. They have lost their ability to discern truth. Remember how important truth is. Truth is absolutely paramount to democracy. If you don't have truth, you can't have democracy. You absolutely have to have truth. And if you've given up on the idea of truth, then you've given up on the idea of democracy, which this guy, that Stork Entertainment guy, has done. He gave up on the idea of democracy. He no longer believes in American institutions. He no longer believes in his fellow Americans. He no longer believes his own senses. He can't even trust his own body. That's how messed up he is. He can't trust his own body. His body will show this crime happening, but he can't trust it. He has to listen to Donald Trump instead. It's terrible, this brainwashing. But you have to have truth. You have to have truth. If there's no truth, this machine's not going to work. You have to have truth. That's why it's so dangerous for these MAGA Republicans to go around being brainwashed, and for that one guy, Stork Entertainment, to make videos to spread around his brainwashing, because it's brainwashing. It's literal brainwashing. I've demonstrated it for you. I've demonstrated the effectiveness of Russian ideological subversion. It works. It worked. This is the thing that we have to that we're up against. We're up against Americans who have given up on the idea of truth and will repeat the fascist propaganda of Russia because they don't believe in truth anymore. So for them, everything looks the same. They can't make distinctions anymore because it all looks the same. The only way they can see distinctions is if their leader tells them there's a distinction. Then there's a distinction. Only after their leader tells them. All right, what else do I got here? So, as you know, Putin, like, the fascist movement is global. The fascist movement is global. So, one of the reasons why Putin put Donald Trump into the position of president of the United States was because he wanted Donald Trump to ruin NATO. Putin had a plan to take over Ukraine for a long time. He really wanted to take over Ukraine for a long time. But he was afraid that NATO would step in and stop Russia from taking over Ukraine. So Putin installed Trump to get rid of NATO. And when Donald Trump was the president of the United States, he did all sorts of things to break up NATO. He tried he disparaged all the NATO partners. He said they weren't doing enough. They weren't paying enough. He tried to make NATO into a protection racket, like an extortion racket, instead of a treaty. He got rid of the nuclear treaties that we had with Russia, so Russia can make new nuclear bombs. And he tried to extort Zelensky so that Ukraine would give up before the Russians would ever invade. So luckily, we got rid of Donald Trump, and then Biden has reestablished Western support with Ukraine. And so in response, because Vladimir Putin couldn't use a coup to get rid of Zelensky anymore because Trump was gone, and that means NATO's back, then Putin had to invade Ukraine. So yeah, Putin invaded Ukraine, and it was a big fat invasion. And for months and months and months, Russia invaded from all directions. It invaded. So the purple is what Russia invaded in 2014. And the red is what they invaded in 2022. They tried to invade from Belarus. They tried to take the capital, and they failed. They failed, and they got pushed back out of here. And they kept advancing on the Eastern Front. They kept advancing until they finally overstretched their hand. Now, there was big talk about how Ukraine was going to launch a counteroffensive down here. And I listened, right? I was listening, and I heard, yeah, Ukraine is going to launch a counteroffensive in the south to retake Crimea and to retake all this land in the south. So I'm listening, thinking, all right, go Ukraine. They're going to do this. Russia believed that they were going to attack Kherson. So Russia moved all the people out of there and moved them all the way over to here to reinforce the south from the attack. But then the attack actually happened, and it went nothing like I thought it would. It was in the north. The attack went in the north. It went like this. And they covered that amount of land. To liberate that amount of land is insane. It took Russia months and months and a lot of men to take this land, and for Ukraine to take it back in like 4 days is crazy. So what happened was Ukraine tricked us. Ukraine tricked everybody. They tricked me, they tricked Russia. Everyone thought that Ukraine was going to go attack the south, but really they went attacked over here. And that's how come they're starting to take back all this land. They took back huge chunks of land here. They tricked Russia. Russia thought they were going south. Russia moved all their people down here, and then Ukraine attacked the north. Ha 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 ha. That's pretty good. That was pretty good. So yeah, good job, Ukraine. You tricked everybody. What else do I got? Oh, here's Donald Trump. This is how we know Donald Trump talks a lot, right? Donald Trump first said the FBI planted documents, but Donald Trump wanted them back. Then Donald Trump said he did not have the classified documents, but he knows the boxes that they were in because they were checked. Trump declassified the secrets, but they must be kept secret by a special master. Christina Bobblehead, his lawyer, should expect she's fine that she is not paid because Trump doesn't pay his lawyers. So. All right, what else do we got? Life expectancy. China did a great job in raising its people out of poverty because, man, they were dying early. They were dying super early, super young. Look at that. A life expectancy of like 40 years old. You die when you're 40 in the 1960s? That's terrible. That's terrible. So China made huge advancements in taking care of its people. Good job, China. The United States, in contrast, that's COVID. When COVID hit, now Chinese people live longer than Americans. Why? Why is this? It's because every single government, every single country above us, that everyone who lives longer than Americans, every single one of them has universal health care. Every single one. The United States, with a life expectancy of 77 years, is the only country without universal health care. Everyone who does better than us has universal health care. Only the United States hasn't figured it out. Why hasn't the United States figured out universal health care? That's right, white supremacists. White supremacists, the legacy of white supremacy is what kept Americans from having universal health care. The legacy of white supremacy. The reason why the United States is doing so badly in comparison to all these other countries is because of the legacy of white supremacy. The legacy of white supremacy. If we can get rid of the white supremacists, America can be amazing. We can get so much cool stuff. We can have universal health care. We can have free college. If we get rid of the white supremacists are the number one obstacle to American prosperity. The white supremacists. All right, finally, I want to make the last thing I'm going to talk about. Remember I talked about how fire was really important for humans because it transformed humans. And I said when we humans found fire, we transformed. Okay, I did a little bit of research into it, and the people who found fire were not us, Homo sapiens. We did not find fire. It was our ancestor that found fire. Who was our ancestor? We are Homo sapiens. All the humans on the planet right now, all the humans on the planet are Homo sapiens. It doesn't matter where you come from, you're a Homo sapien. Okay. Before Homo sapiens, we had ancestors before Homo sapiens. Our ancestor was Homo erectus. This was our ancestor. These are the people that discovered fire. These are the people that mastered fire. Because they mastered fire, they were transformed. They were no longer Homo erectus. After they started having fire, they could eat good food and develop bigger brains. After they're eating, because of fire, they can cook their food. Their jaw doesn't have to be so big to crunch up the stuff. Now their jaw can get smaller and their throat can get smaller. When your jaw and throat get smaller, you're able to articulate sounds, language, spoken languages. Do you see how fire starts transforming us? It made our jaw smaller. Our gut used to be really long because we needed long intestines to digest food. But with fire, that food is already pre-digested in a way. So it takes less energy to break down the food to get the stuff out. So our digestive tract shrank by half. This guy has double the intestines that we do. Our ancestor had double the intestines that we do. It was because of fire that we didn't need the long intestines. It was because of fire that we were able to shrink our jaw and use our vocal cords. It was because of fire that our brains expanded and were able to manage this thing called language. Fire literally transformed us. It literally transformed us from Homo erectus to Homo sapien. That's pretty amazing what energy can do. So if you can imagine what fire did to Homo erectus to change us to Homo sapiens, imagine what unlimited nuclear power will do to humans when we start eating it. What will it do to us when we start eating unlimited nuclear power and we stop killing each other for energy and we stop polluting the earth for energy? Imagine what will happen to us. I mean, literally happen to us. What will literally happen to us? It's kind of interesting to think about. Okay, America, I hope to turn you on to the idea of demoralization. If you can see the signs of people who are demoralized, you're able to avoid them and to discount their words, to understand that their words are products of propaganda and a demoralized brain which has lost the ability to discern truth. Okay, America, until then, next time, Pogo Kiddo out. Peace. Stop. Yeah, happy 9/11. Okay, stop.